Welcome to the Awareness Angle, the podcast that brings you the latest security awareness news and gives you the security awareness angle on it. I am one of two hosts of a show. I'm Anthony, and with me as always is Luke. How you doing, Luke?
Yeah, all good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. One day that intro will be like nailed on and it will be the same every week, but episode 9, it's still evolving. It's still changing.
Probably the right point for it.
Yeah, we'll
get there.
I'll get there. We'll get there. Welcome back to episode 9. It's great to be back. And today is middle of January, so we've got all the usual things. We've got the news section, got loads of news stories tonight, so we're going to whiz through those quite couckly because there's a few of them. We've got a great awareness section tonight, so if you work in security awareness, we have couple of really good discussion points on security awareness this week. And we have a great comment section as well. We've got a couple of great questions that we are going to go through. So that's great. And then I've got some topics. Luke's got a couple of topics. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really great to see that we've got a lot of, a bit of a community going.
I'll tell you what, we're getting some traction. This last episode we release, as on YouTube, has been our most viewed episode so far. It's like, it's not gone boom, but we're in triple figures for viewership in the first few days, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Last week we hit number 13 in the tech news chart on Apple Podcasts. There was no bump this week. We have gone down consistently over the last 8 days. So I don't know. I think it's broken. I think the reporting's broken. So, if you are listening and you are giving us feedback, brilliant. We're doing this for you, for awareness professionals, for the community. So if there's something we're not doing right or there's something you want us to do, reach out, tell us, it's by us for you. So yes. Right. Should we get on with the news? I think the first big news story that at the moment, a lot can change in a few days. We record this Thursday night. If all goes to plan and nothing changes, by the time you listen to this episode, TikTok would have turned off in the US. The TikTok ban is obviously incoming. And the ban, actually, I read today, the ban for TikTok means that they're not allowed to be downloaded from app stores. So they have to remove the app from the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And they're not allowed to send out any updates for the app. But the app in its current form can stay and the users can stay. But TikTok have said, no, we're pulling out. So apparently when users log in on Sunday or users open the app on Sunday in the US, they will be presented with information saying, we're going, this is why, and here's a link to download all of your data.
Yeah, so, well, let's see what happens with that.
It's going to be interesting. I've already seen some content creators they're going, I'm making this for TikTok because that's a lot of creators start a TikTok and then distribute the content. I've seen Dr. Jessica Barker. I've seen videos that she shared on LinkedIn that have got the TikTok watermark. I don't know if the latest batch do, but she definitely did that once upon a time. So it's going to be interesting to see where everybody goes. Is it YouTube Shorts? Is it Instagram Reels?
Yeah, I've already seen that Chinese app, Red Note. Is it Red Note? Yeah. You
mean the other Chinese app that isn't TikTok?
Well, yeah, the one that's the fully Chinese owned and Chinese servers, and everyone's moving over there, which I'm sure has its risks as well. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, I spotted that. It's only a matter of time before that one goes as well. So
I think it was the most downloaded app on Apple and Google as well, I think.
Yes, I think it did hit number 1 in the stores, didn't it? So we'll see. Watch this space. But by the time you're listening to this, they might have been given a break, and it might not be going. And there was rumours that Elon Musk was going to be allowed to buy TikTok. It's like, oh no. So yeah, we won't get into Elon though. Yeah. That's not this kind of podcast. Right, next news story is yours, sir.
So this is just a quick one for this one, I think, or the next two. But so this is a story about the FBI hacking some malware, computers that were infected with a malware, but basically making the malware uninstall itself. So this is a Chinese malware called PlugX, distributed by Mustang Panda Group, and it
Cool
basically,
name.
yeah, it was a piece of malware that infected devices for a USB, like a malicious USB stick, and they allowed hackers to steal data remotely, control these computers across, it says US, Asia, and Europe, and yeah, so the FBI used the malware to uninstall itself across 4,200 devices. So it's quite
That's awesome.
cool story, yeah. And it's
I think something similar happened with WannaCry. I think someone found, I'm sure some white hat hacker found the CNC server or something for WannaCry and managed to like stop the rot before it got really bad or something like that. I may be imagining that, but it rings bells.
Yeah, I recall something like that. But yeah, it's just it goes to show as well, like around USB hygiene. Don't go plugging in unknown USB devices. And
No, I love the fact it's called Mustang Panda. I remember CrowdStrike. I've got one here. CrowdStrike created these superheroes based on all the names. So this is Wizard Spider, which was one of the viruses that CrowdStrike stopped. And they create, if you watch it on video, I'm basically got a box of a toy. CrowdStrike released a range of figures. And I got this at an InfoSec conference. And it tells you on the back, following a series of damaging internal leaks in early 2022, Wizard Spider shut down their operations and splintered into several new e-crime projects. But Wizard Spider, it was a e-crime adversary beginning in 2016 with the TrickBot banking Trojan. And look, there's, if you watch it on the video, you can see there is Wizard Spider. Yeah,
it's probably one of the coolest piece of, I guess you can call it, merch that you'd get from a.
If anyone from CrowdStrike is listening, I would love some more of these if you've got them. I had to give you a really good. I want a Mustang Panda. What would a Mustang Panda one look like? I don't know. If you're good at drawing stuff, so if anyone wants to draw a Mustang Panda, we'll there's going to be a million AI Mustang Pandas now. But yeah, that's yes. Sorry, I digress.
All good.
It's amazing though that the FBI managed to turn that around. You know, that's a positive news,
good win
story.
And just a reminder for guests. Remind your colleagues to be careful with what they plug in, and I guess in most cases you'd have a policy that prevents USB devices and whatnot, but not everyone has that.
No, that's definitely the awareness angle on this, isn't it? It's tell you on this occasion, you know, only 4,200 devices were infected, but it could have been us if this got into an organisation, you know, with 10,000, 50,000 devices. It could have been a lot worse. So this is why you shouldn't plug in your devices. This is why you install your updates and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So the next news story is new macOS malware, which is the old Banshee macOS malware, but it's a new strain of that. Basically, apparently, the source code of the original was released at some point in November 2024, I believe. And basically, someone's made a new variant of this macOS malware, which essentially is able to bypass the built-in malware protection of what Apple has on their OS, which is quite crazy. And so it puts a lot of Mac users at risk. And sort of, as we discussed in the previous episode about macOS doesn't generally get targeted for viruses or malware, and here we go.
It's difficult. You kind of get a false, like, I'm a Mac user and I wouldn't know that XProtect exists because it's so under the radar. And I gone are the days where you had Norton or you had McAfee like beeping at you every 5 minutes that it had found something. And the modern kind of antivirus or EDR tools run really silently, which is nice. But the downside with that is that they do give you a false sense of security. Like, you don't necessarily know they're there, and you kind of, I don't get any viruses. As a Gmail user, I don't get any phishing emails. I rarely get dirt land in my Gmail inbox. If I log into my Hotmail account, Outlook, what decade is this? Sorry. If I log into my Outlook account, it's full of rubbish. So, Yeah, this is the problem with macOS. Like, macOS users need to be careful, especially if they've been a macOS user for years and they don't need antivirus on a Mac.
Yeah. So this malware can steal your browser credentials. Yeah, goes after your cryptocurrency wallets, your passwords, and apparently it's being spread through phishing websites and fake GitHub repositories, and even
Techie
fake
crowd.
apps. Chrome and Telegram apparently is the ones that it's imitating. And yeah,
I love this because it's it fully explains who a Mac user is, right? A large portion of Mac users are technical users that would be accessing GitHub and might want to use Telegram and stuff like that. I know, like in corporate organizations, where is the money? Mac users are probably typically a little bit more affluent than a Windows user because Macs cost more. But then if they're using Macs in business, they're probably a large percentage of them that will be using them for very technical stuff. So that's where they put it. Yeah, it's clever, right? You have to. Gone are the days where it's just like shoot it out to everyone in the hope that someone clicks. That still happens, but now these more targeted, more niche. Where are the people who's for this kind of thing? Yeah. So, what's the Apple are fixing it? Are they? Is that what's been done?
I'm not too sure if it's actually been resolved yet. But essentially, I guess it's sort of at the minute standard things of making sure you install your OS updates to get that protection against stuff like this. And I guess in some businesses that have their own antivirus solution, is to make sure your macOS devices are protected as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, the last thing is obviously verifying your sources, like where you're downloading your apps from and your GitHub repositories and stuff.
Oh, it brings us back to Google Ads and all that kind of thing. Makes it, check the URLs, trust the links. Yeah. This will probably be one of those where Apple releases an update and out of band releases an update for out of support versions as well. They every now and again, there's something important enough and big enough that Apple goes, and if you're still running iOS 11, you can have an update, even though we haven't updated it properly. So the security fixes tend to go out a little wider sometimes. So that'd be good to watch out for. Yeah. I had some news items this week. I'll whiz through these. There is a new phishing trend going around. This is I mention it because it's something that you might want to mention to users, but it's nothing that we haven't really seen before. There's a really obvious email, the phishing lure, subject line, action required, server security ID, random string. And then the body of the email is like, hello, Luke, your password is due to reconfirm today. And then today's date. You can change your password or keep your password. Click here to keep your account active. Yeah, really kind of basic stuff that probably every phishing simulation platform has. But the next thing in this is the URL, when you hover over the links, is youtube.com. And then a load of obfuscation, percentage 20, percentage 20, percentage 20, percentage 20. And then right at the end, at globaltouchmassage.net / blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the URLs, if you hover over the URL, it looks like it goes to YouTube. Why YouTube? To reset my password on my Microsoft 365 account. I mean, that's a red flag straight away. But they could have put choice. They could have picked anything for that. But it's the indicators, excessive percentage 20s. So that's HTML space encoding. The URLs that include an @ symbol. So that might be something that your security team can go, URLs shouldn't contain an @ symbol. We don't like that. So we're not going to allow those. We'll put a link to that one we'll tuck that at the bottom of the newsletter. Oh, have I told you we've got a newsletter?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a newsletter. So all of the stories we're discussing now and everything in the whole show will be in the Awareness Angle newsletter. You can sign up at riskycreative.com or find it on LinkedIn. And it comes out every Monday morning with links to the show and gives you the awareness angle on all of the topics we discuss. So sign up and get that in your inbox every Monday. The next one is, it's a crafty Apple iMessage smish, phishing text, phishing SMS. And this one, so iOS has a feature that when you get a text message, when you get an SMS message, the URL, if you don't know the contact, any URLs in that message aren't active. You can't click on it until you reply. Because once you reply, you've acknowledged acceptance almost. So these messages, like one, for example, that comes from a random number, our staff was unable to deliver your package on time because the address information provided was incomplete. Please complete it within the next 24 hours. https://usps.com-ispsxq.top, a .top domain. And then it says in brackets, please reply Y, then exit the text message, reopen the text message, or copy the link into a Safari browser to get the latest status. So they're trying to socially engineer users to come out of the message, to reply to the message, come out of it and go back into it to activate that link. So if you get a message that you don't know, this is the awareness angle on this. If you get a message you do not know, do not reply. Just delete it.
Especially while giving such specific instructions.
Yeah. And if it does look legit, if you're like, expecting a package from the US Postal Service, no, it is legit, just go straight to the website and type in by hand the tracking ID. Don't click on links in dodgy text messages, and don't reply to them. Like, some clever people think, I'm going to reply and get a bit of banter. You'll get hooked, or you just leave yourself open to something else. So don't do it. Couple of other stories. Patch Tuesday this week was the biggest ever Patch Tuesday. 159 CVEs, 3 publicly disclosed. One of them was a little nasty, which is why I mentioned it, I think. So 3 are under active exploit in the wild. 1 could be best mitigated by configuring Microsoft Outlook to read all standard mail in plain text. There's some Windows stuff in there. We'll put a link to those in the show notes. But it's interesting that it's the biggest ever Patch Tuesday. And it's a good news story to tell people that loads of patches. Please install your updates really quickly. There's some really nasty ones in here. It's keep pushing that updates are important. That would be the awareness angle on that, I think.
Yeah.
The last news story I have this week is AI Brad Pitt dupes French woman out of 830,000 euros.
Oh, wow.
So a French woman who was conned out of 830,000 euros, which is £700,000, $850,000, by scammers posing as actor Brad Pitt, has faced a huge wave of mockery, leading French broadcaster TF1 to withdraw a program about her. Wow. So last Sunday night, a week ago, if you're listening to this, when you're listening to this, it attracted national attention of interior designer Anne, who thought she was in a relationship with Pitt for a year and a half. She has said she's not crazy or a moron. She just got played. I admit it. And that's why I came forward, because I'm not the only one.
Incredible.
Brad Pitt has a representative of Brad Pitt told Entertainment Weekly it was awful that scammers take advantage of fans' strong connection with celebrities, and that people shouldn't respond to unsolicited online outreach, especially from actors who have no social media presence. So yeah, she's received a bit of mockery. Netflix in France put out an post on X advertising 4 films with Brad Pitt for real, and then deleted it. And And Toulouse FC said, "Hi, Anne. Brad told us he would be at the stadium on Wednesday. And you?" This is a really, like, as an awareness professional, the culture around all of this, she's not going to come forward again. And the next person that gets duped won't want to come forward again because they won't want to be made a mockery of. So this is kind of an example of a rotten culture of security awareness. This poor woman's been scammed. She's come forward to stop it happening from other people.
Yeah.
And she's just been made fun of. So that's not nice. And that's going to stop people coming forward again in future. And that's a bad security culture. You want to have an open, supportive, honest, welcoming, encouraging, put your arm around you kind of culture, I think. Yeah. It's, the stories. The request for money ramped up when Fake Pitt told Anne he needed cash to pay for kidney cancer treatment, sending her multiple AI-generated photos of Brad Pitt in a hospital bed.
Wow.
I looked the photos up on the internet. So she tried to verify. She looked the photos up on the internet but couldn't find them. So I thought that he'd taken those selfies just for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think there's
Meanwhile,
been stories similar before like that.
She and her husband divorced. She was awarded €775,000, all of which went to the scammers. God, it's terrible. Yeah. And it's not at all nice.
There's definitely some vulnerable people out there. There's definitely want to sort of make sure your messaging's sort of clear enough for all kinds of users.
Yeah. This last line, an op-ed in newspaper Liberation said, Anne was a whistleblower. Life today is paved with cyber traps, and AI progress will only worsen this scenario. Bang on. Yeah. It's only going to happen again and again. Not with AI, it happened in EastEnders recently where Jean, a character called Jean, who's quite vulnerable, she was conned out of all of her life savings by someone claiming that she should pull it out of her pension and put it into like fast stocks and stuff like that. And she lost it all. And then they came back to her. And then she got scammed again because someone contacted her saying that they were a law firm that could get all of her money back. Oh, no. So she then gave them the rest of her money, but that was all part of the scam.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow. And then, like, she tried to go to the police, I think, but nothing happened of it. Like, EastEnders there was no more follow-up, and she lost her money, and now they've not mentioned anything about it. Right. So it's, that was kind of chip paper almost, like it was today's news, tomorrow's chip paper. So, which is quite bad. They could have made more of it just to really hit home the impact.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. That's the news.
That's a lot of news.
Lot of news. Right.
I have to speed through these next bits.
Yes. This one is something I wanted to ask you. So let's talk about some awareness topics. Okay, so this is for security awareness professionals, some stuff from the awareness world. Maybe that's a new section if there's enough of it. Awareness world. A message from Lance Spitzner from the SANS Institute. I'm sure everyone knows Lance. If you don't, what you're doing, go and follow him on LinkedIn. Lance posted on LinkedIn a couple of days ago that there's a new version of the SANS LDR 433 Managing Human Risk course. So if you're like, what's LDR 433? They've renamed their courses from MGG 433 and a number of courses, actually. They've changed them from management to leadership. So there's a new version of LDR 433, Managing Human Risk, numerous updates to include more extensive team case studies and a deeper dive into measuring risk. Lance says, when it comes to metrics, I like to focus on impact metrics. Are we making a difference? He measures culture, what people think, and knowledge, what people know. And these are the drivers of behaviour, what people do. You've done that course, haven't you, Luke? 433?
Yeah, back in 2021. So it's a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do that course. I got given the option of you can do the course or you can go to the SAN Summit, and I was like, I'll go to the summit, please. I'll go for the couple of days out and the meal. Yeah. So I didn't do the course, but it's a good kind of covers.
Yeah,
if you're starting out or you're kind of, you want help planning your stack, it's good for that, is it?
Yeah, I think definitely if you haven't got a whole lot of experience already, then definitely it's definitely good to that kind of course, and there's probably some other ones as well in the similar sort of area. But yeah, it covers all sorts of running an awareness program. But obviously now it's become more around the human risk, or at least they've reworded that. But yeah, it goes into all the very different theories and models, and yeah, there's a lot in it.
Yeah, I did the LDR 521, which is the security culture for leaders, and that was good. You learn a lot of the kind of marketing models and the kind of the right kind of approaches, and it's good to kind of make sure it acts. For me, it acted as a real good reminder to kind of remember some of the basics that you kind of forget about, and it's kind of reinvigorates you to put you back on the back on the well-trodden path to do things correctly. So
yeah, we haven't sold that very well, but we'll put the link in the the newsletter, and people can read about what you can learn from doing the course. And obviously you get your option to do an exam to get your SSAP.
And then you get your SSAP. You don't get one of them with the 521, so you don't get nice letters after your name with the 521, or you didn't when I did it. I still don't think you do, which is annoying. But yeah, the 433 does definitely look good on the CV. I think it shows that you have the knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's reaffirms sort of like an industry standard.
Yeah,
I think, and yeah,
I think the one thing Lance mentions metrics there, and for a time, and it kind of still is, but for a time, measuring metrics was always the kind of, this mythical thing that some people were amazing at, but seemed really difficult because you've got all this stuff. And I know over the last few years, all the behavioural tools that you can plug into now, your culture AIs, your cybersafes, your behaviour IQs, all your behavioural tools that you tap your systems in so they tell you where your risky behaviours are. That helps with metrics, but I think what to do with those metrics and how to weaponize those metrics and how to translate them into kind of action, I guess that this course will really help with that.
Yeah, it has the maturity model as well, doesn't it? I think it's what's on your mic, isn't it?
Where it's about
having go from a non-existent to compliance, to awareness and behavior and to culture along. Sustaining that culture and then their metrics and stuff.
It's quite interesting as well because where in my last role started right at the bottom with nothing and started from scratch. So I think you joined me when we were like on step 2 or step 3, and then like helped propel us up. And it's the maturity model, seeing it grow is awesome. And then I know some organizations have just like created their own model upwards, they're like blasting into outer space from that, which is amazing. The next thing I wanted to ask, and this is a question really. So, I know of a company that is a small business. They're a small niche recruitment firm. And I was asked a question by them. What do we do about cybersecurity insurance? So they use Google Drive, so their documents are all backed up into the cloud, pretty much safe. All their applicants are stored in a third-party applicant tracking system, so the third party has that backed up and is secured.
Yeah.
So really, they've got no network, no server infrastructure or anything. They all run off their own individual devices that aren't networked together, and we're talking like 4 or 5 people. So I was asked, what do we do about cyber insurance? They've got it from Hiscox, which I've heard of. I believe Hiscox are probably good, but levels of cover. So if anyone out there it knows or can make some suggestions or recommendations about what they would do for a small business that size in that kind of industry, you know, relatively low kind of, you know, relatively low risk and, you know, relatively high appetite for risk. You know, it's just, do reach out to us and let us know. I posted something on LinkedIn, but it didn't get much traction. I don't think anyone saw it. It got a like, I think. So, do let us know if you can make some suggestions or give us some tips around cybersecurity insurance for small businesses. The next
interesting one.
Yeah. The next thing I wanted to mention was I was contacted by someone who is looking for a job. So if you are in the market for an experienced awareness professional, she has done the SSAP, which is 433, isn't it? Yeah. So, yes, she's got that on her CV. She is looking for a role. The company she works for are ceasing operations. So she's based in and around the London area, North London. So if anyone is looking for an experienced awareness professional, give us a shout. I won't give her details out online, but give us a shout and we can put you in touch with her. She would very much like an awareness job, and she's got some experience, so she could be good.
Yeah, be careful, you might get targeted for their CV.
I have the CV, but no one's getting the CV. They can get it from her.
Yeah.
But yeah. And this next one, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to discuss this with you. I had a conversation with someone else this week who's joined a fairly large organisation that has no awareness. They've not had a security awareness function. And she's asked a number of times, a number of different people, are you sure you didn't have someone doing security awareness before me? No. Blank canvas, greenfield, in a significant size organisation that's, you know, across the country, multiple locations, both monthly paid staff and kind of boots on the ground, hourly paid staff.
Yeah.
Starting from scratch. First things. What's you know, just throw some stuff at me. What's the first things that you'd probably do in that situation?
I mean, I guess it depends on the rest of the InfoSec team, I guess, but having some kind of identity / sort of destination for employees to be able to find various pieces of information and policies and something, like a little wiki type page. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could be doing, but
so I spoke with her, and that actually, I didn't even mention that, but that's kind of like having a single point of destination, having a shop window is really, really important. So that's a great suggestion, having your intranet page or on whatever comms platform your team uses, making sure that there is somewhere people can go and it's well signposted.
Yeah.
The first thing I said she should do is basically a culture study or security survey. And the reason I said this was good, there's a number of reasons why I think that's an awesome first thing to do. So, number one, you talk to your comms team and you get them on sign and say, I want to send this out. Please help. So you make friends with your comms team. That in a lot of awareness organisations, a lot of awareness functions, the comms team are a problem, right? So first, straight away, turn up with a pack of biscuits and say, hi, I need your help. Please help me. I bought some biscuits. Can we have a cup of tea or something like that? And then send out a survey. So work with them. If you've got behavioural scientists in your business, or you've got, you know, UX people in your business, or if there's any kind of resource you can call on to help you with it, get them. If not, external resources available, reach out to us. If you don't know, we can put you in touch with people. With a culture study, you can find out what the attitude in the business is like, where the holes are. So you ask questions like, do you know how to change your password? Do you share your password with your colleagues? Do you lock your computer when you walk away? Do you know where our policies are? Do you know, can you classify data? You know, that kind of thing. So you're getting these basic behaviours. Can I identify some massive big holes? And then what you've got to do is work out where your audience is. So you've got to look at your user profiles. This is what I said to her. You've got to look at so some organizations, you'd have your kind of hourly paid and your monthly paid staff. You might have your office workers and your factory workers. So you might have your email users, your connected users, and your non-connected users, your drivers and stuff. So, and then which ones can you do? And then I said, what I would recommend is find out where your quick wins are, your low-hanging fruit, and get some victories chalked up on the board. So it might be that, the biggest risk is our monthly paid staff, and we've got lots of them, but it's going to be a massive job, and it's going to take ages to get out to them, and then do that, but get some scores on the board first. Score early,
definitely, just to show the worth of having.
I think this is, look at the size of this task, and we've already done this. We need more investment. That's a way to get more heads or more resource or a contractor or something like that. So that's it was a really interesting conversation, though, starting from scratch. And again, if anyone's listening, comments, what would you do first? Throw some suggestions at us. You start as an awareness professional in a large organization. What would be your first 2-3 things that you'd do? It'd be great to know if there's any strange out of the box ideas there.
Yeah, it'd be good to
know. We had a couple of questions last week from Hayden, who's one of our most popular listeners, I think. Hayden's given us a bit of feedback before, so thank you, Hayden. Hayden works at Know4 as well. Hi, Know4. It's not a sponsorship or ad slot, but Hayden's got a couple of questions. When working with professionals responsible for security awareness programs at their organisation, every now and again, there will be a board member, generally a CFO or budget holder, that will reject the investment into our platform or resources or security awareness tools in general. I'd love to get your thoughts on how you go about getting buy-in from budget holders or leaders, and whether you have any experience with this yourselves. A lot of IT professionals could probably relate to this. They can feel stuck at times. Now, yes, I mean, you want to bring in a nice, shiny new tool that's going to revolutionize awareness or revolutionize security. And when you get the quote from the vendor, you're like, oh, right, yeah, we get a quote from Softcat or other software providers are available. And it lands in your inbox and you open up the PDF and you're like, it's the wrong side of 50,000 or 100,000, or it's the, I was hoping it would only have 3 zeros, not 4, not 5. What do you think's a good way to kind of do that? Funny enough, I had this conversation with the CISO today, a similar conversation today. What's a way that you would do that, do you think?
It's a bit of a tough one, but I think definitely, obviously getting the time is probably difficult, but I think you can definitely show some examples, I guess, of why you sort of need that tool. Some data from your business would be great. If not, some news stories, I'm sure, can scare them. But yeah, I think really just trying to emphasize the sort of need for it and the benefits. And yeah, I mean, that's quite a big question, but
don't use fear, uncertainty, and doubt with your employees, but use it with your CFO when you want to get an order in.
Yeah,
like scare them into spending the money.
I think you can go back obviously to the vendor and bounce back and forth between, and obviously get that price down. And I'm sure they'll appreciate if you can say you've saved 10, 20, 30%.
Yeah. It's I think you're right. I think one way to do it is obviously proof of concepts are really, really valuable. So look, we've done run a proof is in the pudding, right? So we've done this. Here's all the benefits. Telling stories again is really, really important. So case studies, talk to other customers in the same verticals and be like, what do they use? It could be like they're all using it. But also try and get some success stories. Here's how this revolutionized X, or everyone's on about saving money. So maybe this can be, if we bring this in, it's going to cost us this, but it's going to save us this amount of time. You know, we've done similar with, you know, we needed to change things with phishing, but we've done similar with, like, the whole idea behind bringing in the behavioural stuff is that if user behaviour changes, it will create less tickets for your frontline staff to deal with. If less whoopsies are happening, then, and again, it's just telling you got to sell it. You know, we spend so much time selling security. Now you've got to sell this tool to the stakeholders because they have a pot and you want some of it, and they weren't expecting to give you some of it. The other thing is you wait and you try and get it in a budget year and try and plan ahead, and you know, that pushes things down the road. But telling good stories about the changes it will make and how it will revolutionize a presentation, ask for 10 minutes just to explain what, and literally cut to the chase. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Be like, why do we need it? Why should I give you £100,000 for that tool? Yeah. Because it's going to save. Because if you don't, you know, talk about.
Well, you can talk about fines and data breaches, even, and maybe go as far as target them and show them
call some stats out. Call some stats out, right? Like, well, 6% of our users click on phishing emails, and one of those phishing emails one of those could shut everything down for 2 days. How much would that cost?
The cost, yeah.
And this isn't a silver bullet. You know, that could still happen, but this reduces the chance of that happening hugely. So that's one way to do it. Another one, he says, about getting engagement from end users, whether they're office-based, remote staff, contractors, staff on the road or on site. How do you approach getting engagement from users? Well, I have a book. Hang on.
Yeah. No, I think to that one, obviously, as we know, even you've got to be consistent and get it out there.
I have this book. I haven't fully read this yet. I've just started it. It came the other day. Stand the F Out by Louis Grenier. He's a Louis is a marketer. He's a disruptive marketer, and basically, there's a million marketers in this world, but he's the French guy with a chicken on the front page of his book. You know, it's like he stands out, and that's essentially, I think, what you need to do. But who was I? I was talking to someone about this as well. Consistency is key, though. Like with this podcast is a prime example. Okay, I think episode 9, we're probably now in the top 2% of podcasts because, you know, 98% of podcasts don't get past episode 8, which means out of all the podcasts out there, we're now in the top 2% when you consider amount of episodes, which is crazy, right? But it's consistency. And you look at the numbers of the engagement has gone up and up and up and up. So, but things are important. It has to sound good. It has to look good. If you're on YouTube, you know, we use half decent cameras and we think about the lighting and stuff like that. So that's important. But also it needs to add value. Where is the value in that?
Be relatable and have some sort of actions, I guess, for them to sort of take away, especially for their home life as well. That's a good one.
I was chatting to the CISO about this today, and basically said that it wasn't CISO, it was someone else, head of security, and basically said so we send bi-weekly newsletters out to all staff, and we've done that for 9 years. And the only reason we've done that for 9 years, others have come and gone, and ours gets great engagement, and it's done that for 9 years because there's value in there. So the users get something to take away. It could be go and check your 2FA on social media, or it could be keep an eye out for this. It's relatable. And it's interesting. You know, it's accessible. It's written in a friendly tone and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I know Hayden works at KnowBe4, and I know when we rolled out KnowBe4, the way we did it was we were completely honest. We marketed the fact we'd done it. We made a video showing us, you know, phishing, and we told everyone why we've chosen them and what it will look like, and we showed them, and we took them on the journey with us. And that's, users are interested in all of that. And the feedback's been great. You know, not other phishing platforms are available. This isn't a sponsored ad, but yeah, it's just be out there, be bold, stand out, stay consistent. I think is the key. Momentum's easily lost. Yeah,
for sure. Obviously, an obvious one is obviously have some incentives out there. By, you know, you could give them a free coffee token potentially, or give them a shout out in a newsletter, or if it's a culture study, give them a prize draw or something. Like some pretty simple things. They don't have to be expensive things. They can all be pretty reasonable.
I spoke to someone once. So previously, prize draws, we gave T-shirts away in a prize draw once, like custom T-shirts. And someone I spoke to said, just give an iPad. I was like, yeah, but then you get 10 prizes rather than one, you know. But it's like, but who wants a T-shirt? Everyone wants an iPad. And 10 T-shirts, by the time you've got them printed, will cost you the same as one iPad. So everyone wants an iPad. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, because if they don't want an iPad, they'll flog it, right? But they're not going to flog a custom T-shirt. I won the raffle, you know, T-shirt, you know. It's so yeah, put yourself, again, empathy and stuff. Put yourself in their shoes. Don't expect too much from them is another thing. You know, everyone's busy, so
yeah. If they make it consumable, don't make it.
So many newsletters are just heavy with text. And if you subscribe to newsletters that land in your inbox from content, not corporations, but from content creators, the ones that sustain are the ones that aren't full. Like there's always going to be a scientific newsletter that dives into a paper. There's 3-hour-long podcasts weekly, you know, but they have a unique audience. So it's I think just make sure it's brief, easy to read, easy to digest.
Yeah, same with like surveys and culture studies. Definitely think about what kind of questions and make it as short as you can. Yeah, you probably find get a lot more engagement if it takes them a few minutes versus 15 or 30 minutes. Same with like training, but yeah, we could go on forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one last thing I wanted to add or wanted to ask, and this was really another question. And I saw it. SANS have got a security awareness community. So if you work in security awareness, there's a forum that you can go on. If you're not on it, reach out to SANS and ask if you can join. But it's someone asked on there, what do you collectively call the undesired actions? So they talked about. It used to be just clicking links and opening attachments, but now it's QR codes, callbacks, replying to the sender, macros, entering data. How do you refer to these risky actions in a way that it doesn't get confusing?
Right. Risky behaviours.
Yeah, I think something like that is probably what I would go with.
Yeah, behaviours. You've got your desired behaviours and your undesired behaviours.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because there's so many of these. There's like 4 versions of BEC, you know, business email compromise, version 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3.5 and 4. So it's you could for us, it's nice to break that down and work out what's what. But from a user perspective, like a consumer's perspective of our content, it just blinds them with science. So I think risky behaviours, risky actions, I mean, Jeff Assman has asked this, and he's basically says, he answers his own question actually. How do you singly refer to these risky actions? It's like, well, there you go, risky actions. Yeah, it's a good question though, and it's a challenge many of us face. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. So that was everything I had for this week. Luke, you've got a topic you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, just one for this episode. This is a funny one to end on, so we can probably play it as well and put it on the screen. So it's
cool.
I saw it on TikTok, just browsing, where a content creator gets a copyright mark on their video on YouTube, and we probably just play the video and we'll go from there.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Okay. If you're listening to this and not watching this, you'll be able to hear it. So don't worry.
It'd be quite funny if it gets us a copyright mark, but we'll see.
Oh no! Do you think it could? Hang on, let me just bring this up in the right window.
So yeah, we can play it, and people that are listening, and you don't need to particularly watch it, but it's quite a funny show of how.
Oh, chat! Oh my god, you want to see something? I uploaded the Stay Out of the House VOD. I go and hover it. Copyright claim. Huh? This is only gameplay. How could it ever be a copyright claim? I see details. Return of the Mac a cappella by Mark Morrison. Then I Google it, and it's the actual guy.
Come on. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I never played that. So I jumped to the time in the stream chat. Oh, I'm on it. Oh, yeah. And I'm proud of everything. I would be insulted if I was Mark Morrison.
So,
Wow. Yeah. So they actually thought that his singing was actually the a cappella version of Mark Morrison's Return of the Mac.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sort of a show that these automated systems aren't always that great.
Is that another AI fail, do you think?
Yeah, it's probably does have some sort of AI built into it, but yeah, that's quite funny.
We should get a scoreboard, and maybe each week we can have like AI win, AI fail. Although this isn't an AI show, so
yeah.
as much as I'm like, I don't want to talk about AI every week. I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? But yeah.
That's quite funny, that video. I think, yeah, obviously in this case he can go in and say that, review it, and then a person probably reviews it at that point and confirms it isn't actually what it thinks it is. But yeah,
it's really funny. I've as we've done this podcast, I've looked into a few things, and one of the things it says to help you get along in the algorithm is the things it takes into consideration is the quality of video, the quality of audio. Like apparently people have done A/B testing and uploaded the same content in like 720p and 4K, and the 4K one always does better. Like it automatically, there's some things it's like, oh well, we prefer that kind of content and we prefer that, and we can hear the audio's clean and it's, you know, well leveled and stuff, so the better the content it will feed. So all of these systems, you know, every AI, this is where AI will be doing stuff, because if they can just train a model to do stuff, that's I wonder if you Shazammed that, whether or not that would work as well. I bet
it probably does. I think that's probably just a feature of that kind of thing where you can hum a song and it will find it. But yeah, interesting one. Yeah.
Right, is that everything for this week?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I feel like I've forgotten something, but we can mention it next week. If you're still listening and you want to get your stuff off TikTok, and TikTok has shut down on Sunday, open up the app, download all your data, don't leave it there. That's exactly the thing. I saw a thing this week about Google OAuth Vuln that will leave like loads of accounts on Google OAuth vulnerable. Let me just find this. This was quite an interesting one. I've probably Let me just find it if I can find it. So, vulnerability in Google's OAuth system exposes millions to risk. And this was quite widely reported just this week. It was researchers at Truffle Security. What an amazing name. I thought Risky Creative was good, which is the name of the thing that we do this all under. But Truffle Security is even better. So they found a flaw in the sign in with Google OAuth feature that exposes businesses that have shut down to data breaches. So this vulnerability could allow malicious actors to access sensitive information through abandoned domains. So Google, it was reported to them in September 2024. Nothing really happened. It was highlighted again at a presentation in December last year. Google has acknowledged the vulnerability, has taken limited action, and has basically placed a responsibility on the business owners to secure their data.
Right.
So this led me to think, and we'll close the show out with this because I'm going to use the word close. When was the last time you closed an online account?
Yeah, probably a while ago. Or if I didn't like an app, I probably would delete it, or an account linked to it. And
Now I have downloaded some dodgy apps in the part of our job is to kind of sometimes step into the dark side of the internet, and there's some apps that I've downloaded and like signed in, and I'm like, I don't want to be here, so I've like deleted my account and got out as quick as I can. But yeah, I think the important message on this is, and we're going to see this with AI loads, okay? All of these AI tools that spin up, and there's some great new AI tools coming out that do all kinds of amazing things. But the big players, your Googles, your OpenAIs, your Apples, they're the ones that have got all of the data. So, for example, Google AI Bard will be integrated, Gemini will be integrated with the whole Google stack. It will be able to see your Google Drive documents, and it will be able to know your browsing history, and it knows what makes you tick, basically. Whereas any new tool has to learn that. All these new tools that have spun up, they'll either get bought out or shut down.
Yeah.
And then when they shut down, what do they do with your data? What do they do? They're going to sit in a server somewhere with a password, or some person that's got rich quick and has buggered off and left. When you sign up, make sure if you're not using it anymore, find a way to delete it. It's not always easy.
No.
There was one app I used recently that was surprisingly easy, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, we're at time. We're overrunning. We've gone longer than we said we ever would. So let's call it there. Great show. Thanks, Luke, for joining us again and making this a thing.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's been fun.
Yes. And don't forget, you get the newsletter at riskycreative.com. You can sign up for the newsletter there or on LinkedIn. You can get the podcast on YouTube. Hi, if you're watching, or you can get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other good podcasting platform. If you find somewhere that it isn't, let us know and we'll make it an is rather than isn't. So that's cool. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much, and speak to you next week.
Oh yeah, thank you. See you in a week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.